Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of The Word in the Street. Do I have a good story for you today? Now, I know that most of the people who watch this video and come to my channel on a regular basis, you already know what's going on. So share this video with someone that maybe is on the side of believing everything that they hear on the mainstream media or by government pundits or by these technocrats that run big companies and want to run the world as well. Trump gloats after Bill Gates admits climate change won't end the world. Do you all remember everything that they've put us through for the last 3 or 4 decades, talking about how the world is going to end in 2029? If you don't stop consuming meat, the world is going to end because cow farts are going to eliminate everything on earth. Remember I did a video a long time ago about how someone was wanting to put some bags on the hind end of cows so that it would capture their flatulence. All of these people throughout the last several decades that have made themselves millionaires, if not billionaires, Al Gore, anyone, on the hoax of what is, in my opinion, this is my opinion, on the hoax of what is anthropogenic climate change, meaning that we, human beings, cause climate change. All of these people have been getting rich off of that for years, for decades, at the back of the working person, at the back of those that have to feed their families. Ask Canada how they feel about a carbon tax. Where has all that money gone, ladies and gentlemen? All you have to do is follow the money. In the late 1970s, after global cooling Armageddon signs fell out of fashion, a well-oiled machine comprised of billionaire-funded NGOs, non-governmental organizations, the MSM, Hollywood, woke Wall Street, and robust fact-checking censorship cartel started pushing a cult narrative about the planet's imminent demise in a hellish inferno of global warming. Well, not anymore. And I'm going to tell you why they're turning the other direction now. It's because their agenda has not been met. But there's something better than scaring people into thinking that the earth is going to burn up if we stop driving our SUVs. They blamed everything from cow farts and Taylor Swift's private jet to two-stroke chainsaws, petrol-powered cars, and whatever else these climate Marxists wanted banned, and force people into authoritarian bull butter like electric stoves only and 15-minute cities, and eat bugs because that's going to save the earth, right? Eating bugs. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a huge proponent of alternative energy. I love solar panels. I love what they can do, harness power from the sun and convert it into electricity, because it's just something that we can use as a backup in case we do lose electricity. So you all know that about me, if you've been here long enough. But I don't believe, as many others don't believe, that you can power the world on solar panels. It is a dream. It will never, ever happen. I can guarantee you that right now. Now, as data centers are coincidentally projected to need record amounts of electricity, Bill Gates has changed his mind about all that. What data centers? What are they talking about? They're talking about AI, ladies and gentlemen. You see, what you have to understand is that the cult that oh my goodness, I've said climate change like a few times already. I'm pretty sure, check under this video when you watch it. There should be that little banner that says, climate change is caused by people using fossil fuels. Well, when fossil fuels produce CO2, and CO2 only makes up 0.04% of the atmospheric gases, and of that 0.04, humans only contribute about 0.00012% of that 0.04. I don't think that it's humans that are causing any kind of climate change. I think it's just a cycle that happens. We live on a rock that's traveling at I don't know how many thousands of miles around a star that's traveling at I don't know how many millions of miles around a galaxy, etc., etc. These things are cyclic. They've happened before. They're going to happen again. But let's talk about why this guy right here, which I'm not sure why so much emphasis is placed on this person. All right, he's a computer guy. That's it. That uses his money, that uses his wealth to induce, in my opinion, pain onto the world instead of helping people. But I digress. Why has he changed his mind? Because this stuff about climate change in the last several decades, it hasn't been about saving the earth. It hasn't been about helping you or helping the cows or the insects or anything. It's been 100% about two things: taking as much money from you as they can so that they can do what they need to do to stay in control and gain even more control over the citizenry of the earth. In 2019, Bill Gates was saying that he had to stop cows from farting. Eat fake meat, he said, and get to net zero emissions globally to prevent climate catastrophe. There is absolutely no possible way that we could ever get to zero emissions, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that don't understand physics, in order to create something, you have to destroy something. You cannot create energy out of nothing. Even solar panels that capture the energy from the sun had to destroy something in order to make that solar panel. And when they were making that solar panel, they had to create CO2. They had to create emissions. They had to create waste. You don't get something for nothing, no matter what it is. It's mathematics. But if we ever question any of the rhetoric that was coming from that side, we were called uneducated, science-denying cavemen. And now, today, that they have an alternative measure that they can put in place to further control us, AI, now they're changing gears. Why? Because this is the new thing. This is going to be the new tool that they'll be able to control us. I just wonder how much more money or wealth they'll be able to extract from the citizens of the world, not just even one country, in order to achieve that goal that they have. Here they continue to say, and of course, the climate cult was one giant grift, or as one former Doge worker put it, a heist on the U.S. Treasury. Not only on the U.S. Treasury, but the world, carried out through propaganda that allowed virtuous climate bills to be passed easily. Again, I go back to how many people got wealthy off of this climate stuff. To see this machine in action, look no further than the number of news articles which warned of climate crisis going back 10 years. And look at this. This is 2015. Not very much. This is when they were just getting started. And take a look at this, 2019. Okay, AOC introduces the Green New Deal. We are all doomed by 2029. I mean, she may be right. Maybe we are all doomed by 2029. But it's not going to be because the earth burns up because cows farted or because you want to drive a vehicle. But look at this. This is pure propaganda at play. It is legal. I won't say lawful, but it is legal in the United States of America for the government to use propaganda against its own people in order to shape their thought. Believe it or not, it is legal. I believe it was a bill that was passed back in either 2012 or 2013 by the Obama administration.
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things are true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
And yet, despite decades of gospel over melting ice caps and doom, Gates simply shreds it and decides it's actually not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal now, from the computer guy. That shift to common sense is welcome, but it comes after decades of fear-mongering that harmed young people. I didn't even think about that. All of the young people whose brains have been fried by this crusade that they've been on, thinking that they're doing good. But in fact, all they were doing was the bidding of these people that were actually corrupting their minds. Stalled development and punished dissenting scientists. And I like how they put it. Bill Gates admits climate doomerism is a mistake. Oh, for him it's just a mistake, ladies and gentlemen, because he was one of the benefactors of all of the gains that came in through all of these new policies and taxes. I'm only speculating on that part. I can't say 100% sure that he was. I'm just covering myself because we are on the internet. And now Trump is gloating. Well, you can agree with that or disagree with that, but Trump is who he is. He says, "We won the war on climate change hoax." Bill Gates has finally admitted that he was completely wrong on the issue. It took courage to do so. But I thought the science was settled, right? Wasn't the science settled, ladies and gentlemen? Weren't you a science denier if you ever went against this? He says it took courage to do so, and for that, we are all grateful. Anyways, and then Trump goes on being President Trump as he is. Weird that Gates didn't come to this conclusion before. Big tech needed tons of energy and fast, right? What for? Big tech needs tons of energy for what? For AI, ladies and gentlemen, for data centers, for that next evolution of which is going to be used, or they're going to try to use it in order to capture us further than what they already have. So if you can understand that money is generated through labor, then you could understand that money equals your freedom, because the labor that you put forth to earn money is your time, your property, your labor, right? Your body, your time. California's retirement fund lost 71% of $468 million invested in clean energy and won't say how. In the stock market, it's kind of like a zero-sum game, right? Meaning that if somebody wins, somebody has to lose. So the 71% of the $468 million that was lost, someone ended up with that money. Someone ended up with the wealth that was extracted from you, if you live in California, in order for that stock to go down. Someone has that money. Who is it? The Clean Energy Technology Fund, which was launched in 2007, has seen its value fall from a total commitment of $468 million to $138 million as of March 31st of this year. That represents a loss of more than $330 million, even after paying, listen to this, $22 million in fees and costs to private equity managers. Now, the loss was a lot more, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to tell you why. That $138 million that's left, how much purchasing power does that have today compared to in 2007? It's lost 20 years, roughly, of purchasing power. That $138 million doesn't even buy you a quarter of what it used to buy you 20 years ago. House Oversight Committee declares Biden's auto pen pardons null and void and calls for a DOJ investigation. I've actually used an auto pen before. I used to be stationed, in the Army. I was with a 1st Special Forces group out of Fort Lewis, Washington. Now it's called JBLM. But I was actually in charge of the budgeting office there. It's called Resource Management Office. And every once in a while, when my boss had to leave town, there were things that had to be signed that could only be signed by him. So for those of you that don't know how an auto pen works, at least that's the way that I remember it. I'm not going to get too deep into it. But what you do is you send a company, whatever company it is that's going to make it for you, you send them 3 or 4 samples of the signature of the person that they want, the signature for. And then they'll send you back a little card or a chip or something that you can insert into whatever machine it is that you have, right? Because they have different machines. That when you insert that, it's like a passkey. When you insert that into the machine, it allows the machine to recognize that you're authorized to sign with that person's signature. You put the piece of paper under it properly, wherever you want to sign, push the button, and it goes away and signs that person's exact signature, right? But is this the world that you want to live in, where people that you did not elect into power can have their signature used by anyone that wants to use it in order to fulfill their agenda, especially when you yourself, the person elected into power, has no idea what's going on. The House Oversight Committee invalidated over 4,200 executive actions. I can't believe 4,200 executive actions and pardons signed via auto pen under former President Joe Biden, citing lack of proof he authorized them. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, his most famous pardon was his son. And then, of course, I don't even want to call him doctor, but I'll say Mr. Fauci. Investigations found no written evidence that he approved auto pen use for documents. And listen to this. His former staff, they admitted that decisions were often made orally, undermining accountability. You're only running the most powerful country in the world. God forbid if you can be accountable to the people that put you in office. And we can get into that, to the people that put you in office thing, but I won't. I try to stay out of politics as much as I can. But some things you can't ignore, because this is not the country that we want to leave our kids, ladies and gentlemen. Look, there's a lot of things, all right, about President Trump that I don't agree with. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with, but there's a lot of things that I do agree with. And one thing that I can say for a fact is that thank God that the person running against Trump didn't get into office, because I think most people would agree with me. Whether this SNAP thing is going on or not, doesn't matter. I think most people would agree that by now, all right, October 30th of 2025, had that other person gotten in office, we wouldn't be America anymore. I mean, we were this close to losing this country, the greatest country in the history of mankind. We were this close to losing it. God forbid, had that other person gotten into office, in my opinion, she would have sold us out to the highest bidder. But I digress. Biden's physician and top aides refused to testify, invoking the Fifth Amendment. Well, they better invoke that Fifth Amendment, because if not, they'll find themselves in jail, right? The D.C. Board of Medicine may investigate allegations Biden's cognitive decline was concealed. DOJ ethics officials disputed Biden's claim that pardoned individuals were nonviolent, noting some had violent criminal histories. Remember to go to my entry video so that you can enter to win a reverse osmosis system from SIMPURE. I believe we're up to probably a half a dozen, if not more, systems that I'll be giving away to people that enter to win on that video. So go check it out. Also, go check out OUPES and enter to win their Guardian 6000, their newest solar generator that should be coming out here in the month of November. Entering to win on both of those is completely free, doesn't cost you a penny. They even ship it to you for free as long as you live within the United States of America. I want as many people to benefit from this SIMPURE system as possibly can, because I want everyone that can and that wants to have clean water. And also, OUPES is having a Halloween sale, and they're going to be having flash sales. So if you enter to win that Guardian 6000, they'll go ahead and send you an email when the flash sale is going on, and you'll be able to take advantage of very, very low prices. Let me finish it at this. I know I'm long-winded. I was looking at one of my old videos, one of my old OUPES videos from years ago. And I was looking at the sale prices they had back then. So I looked at the Mega 5, right? And I'm like, today, I think the sale they have going on now, the Mega 5, I think you can get it for like $1,550. And if you do get it, you can use my code to get an additional 5% off, ladies and gentlemen. Back then, when they were on sale, they were like $2,500. So now they're like $1,000 less on sale than what they were when they were on sale. Not even regular price, when they were on sale like 2, 3, 4 years ago, however long it was. Have a great day. God bless every one of you. I love you all. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.